okay, are
Yeah,
declared in the init, basically init
the
function.
variable. Yes.
Okay, so if we develop so many functions, right, basically inside this class, so all the variables are stored in init, right, basically.
Okay. So I will talk about it today. Like setting, you're setting, giving the declaring the variable name, right?
Yeah, like if we have some 10 functions within this class, so
Yeah.
all the variables are stored under this init function, basically.
So basically, see, there are two options, right? I will show you those. There are three methods of setting any variable for an object. So
Mhm.
there are three different ways. Today we will discuss in depth about
Okay, yeah.
it. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. Any other question, anyone?
And what is this, sir? Self dot name? How are we assigning this
Self.
value?
Yes, sure. We'll talk about this also today. Okay. So first, let's discuss about the self. What is the self? So when we create an object like obj equals to student Sam, okay, and when we are doing this object, so object dot get name, we see that in get name also we have something called self, and in constructor also we have something called self, but we are not passing it, right? So basically, when we are, so for example, this constructor, we are only passing the name, we are not passing self. So when there is a call, what happens? This is equivalent to your students, and instead of self, it will pass the the current object which we are which it is pointing to. Similarly, when we are doing a get, so what is happening? It is calling like dot object dot get name, right? So internally, it is calling like this get name, and it is pointing passing the object here, object comma only object. Okay. So self refers to the current object. So in this case, obj, this name is unique to this obj, right? And in case of this different second object, object one, this object we will be passing object one instead of object. So basically, self refers to your current object at current. When you are creating this, when this statement is getting called, so what is the object that we are dealing with? We are dealing with this object, right? So the value of self will be this object. When we are using this object, the value of self will be pointing to this particular object. Okay, so we can conclude that what is self? Self is nothing but it is pointing to the current object. Is this clear? Self, is this clear? Self, what is self? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Now see, setting, for example, the variable name, which I think who was asking this, it was Mallikarjun.
Yes, Ganesh.
Okay. So setting the name, right? So there are three ways of setting and setting names. Okay. We'll see all the setters. Okay. So there are three different ways we can set the rather than we can, rather than setting name, I'm saying we can assign values to an object. Assign values to the object. For example, let's create this same class 2. And in this, let's say We don't have anything. It's just a blank class. Now, if I want to create an object of this, let's say the object name is S1. How do we create it, guys? Object name equals to the S1, the name of the class, and with this bracket. And let's say I want to set the name for this. S1 name equals to Sam. I want to set the let's say email abc and then gmail.com. I want to create another object. This is one object. I want to create another object just to and in this, let's say Sam, we have Samir, ABC, let's say DEF. Okay, so this is just a blank class, not having any properties, any methods or variables inside it. But what we did, we just created an object of this class, and we have set two attributes. So these are called attributes. Okay, attributes. One of the attribute is name, and second attribute is email. And if you want to retrieve these values, so same thing we can use s1 dot name and s1 dot email. So if I run this day, run this. So this is one way of doing it, setting and getting this one any value to an object. Okay, so this is without even declaring any method and variables. This is
Sir, what is the S1 dot name? What is Sam will be a part of variable, or because since there is no method inside student, so what are you doing?
so this is part of this object. The one
Okay.
when you create an object, a memory is allocated to this. Okay, and when you execute it, so it is stored as part of the object. Okay, let's visualize this class, how it is getting stored. Let's check it. Let's check it out. So if we have this class. See, so S1 is an student's instance. Okay, object is also called an instance. Okay, object is also called instance. So now see, when we are doing s1 dot name equals to Sam, so it's just like creating a key value pair for this object. Key is name and the value is Sam. Okay. Next, email. Similarly, S2, right? S2, then another memory will be allocated for this new object, S2. Okay. And the values will be stored for this. Now, when we retrieve it, S1 is pointing to those, S2 is pointing to those. It is going to retrieve individual elements. Clear so far? So you see students class, students instance, student object. This is one way. Clear or not, guys?
Yes, Danish.
Okay, this is one way. Second way is using setters. We are setting the name setters, and for retrieving, we will be using getters. Okay, so let me open a new file. So this is the second way, and we are using this. Using setters and getters. So we have this class student. And in this, we don't have any constructor, but we have setters. So setters are nothing, but they are also like a normal function, right? So we'll do a set name, pass this self comma name. Why we are doing a self, guys? Self dot name equals to name. Similarly, we will have for, let's say, email set. Similarly, we have getters, get name. So returning we will have get mail. Okay, so we have this, and like next we will create objects for this. In students, we have created two objects. And once you have the objects, then we are going to set the name and email for, like first, because each object will be unique, right, guys? They are representing different students. Okay, so they will be having a different name, different IDs. So let's say copy this. S1 dot, like it's 2 dot set name. Mir. Similarly, S2 dot set email. Okay, now if you want to retrieve it, you have to use the getters. So this is using setters and getters. So we will just print S1 dot get name, S1 dot get name. E, E. This is using setters, getters. Okay, so if you run this, it will give me the name of the both the objects. Students is not defined. Okay, we have students. Fine. Now if we run this, Sam. Now have you understood the importance of this self? Why we using self here? What will happen if we don't use self?
What will happen, sir? We can assign another variable and set it to name.
When we are see, we are calling the same method on different objects.
Okay.
We are calling the same method on different objects. Okay. So if you don't use self, so so this self is distinguishing between the two objects. Okay, this self dot name is nothing but what is happening, it is telling S1 dot name equals to name when we are calling with S1 object. Okay, when you are calling with S2 object, so that is replacing self with S2 dot name. Okay, like it is different, this value will be different for different objects or instances. Okay, that is why all the methods that have self has one parameter, they are called instance method. Instance is nothing but people use it for object also. Okay, like this will be unique for each object, like
So
these values.
self is a keyword or
Self is a keyword. Okay, it points when it is called with s1, it is when we are calling this method with the object s1, so the value of self, it will be like, self will be s1. Okay, when you are calling with a different object, self will be pointing to that particular object. Clear, guys? So this is the second way of initializing the values using setters and getters. Okay. Third way is using constructors that we saw yesterday. Where is it? This one. Using init. So let me just. Okay, probably I'm going to copy this one here. Copy the entire thing. So in this, we don't need this name and email setters. Okay, we can do it with the help of init. So inside this will pass self name comma email, and in here you will say self dot name equals to name and self dot email equals to name. Okay, and for this we have to change. We don't need the setters. We have to pass the setters while creating the object only. Okay, because while creating the object, constructor will be called, but it will see that this we are not passing any parameters here, and it is expecting two parameters, we'll get an error. Okay, so if I run it like this, we will run constructors. You see, missing two required positional arguments, name and email. So we have to pass the name and email here. Pass. Okay, so this is the third way of setting and getting values. All the three methods, guys, is it clear to everyone? Using constructors, using setters and getters, and only just using a dot operator to show the value in retrieve the values. Any doubt, anyone?
sir, like how will this come into picture when we are talking about like real-time programming? These objects in the class and create. So we are using the properties of a particular class and then we initiate object to use those methods.
uh right, so no, I didn't get your question, can you come again?
Uh, I was asking like where this whole object instance creation comes into picture. So we create our own class and then we to use any method we create an instance of that class.
Right. So in real time, so if you're solving any problem, you can do it two ways. Okay, either in object oriented way or in a procedural oriented way. Okay. Let's say you have 100 of students in a class. Okay. And you want to store the details of those students, and those students, you want to store the important details for the student. Let's say you want to store their like name and all is fine. You want to store like fee payment. Okay, how many students, like how much they have, like how many fees are pending, or you want to find out who is scoring the maximum marks, all those kind of things. Okay. So while solving this problem, so you can do it two ways. Okay, either you use the procedure oriented way using normal functions and all without defining classes, or you can just create a class for the students, have the methods that are important, like that you need inside that class. And whenever any student is doing anything, changing anything, you can update them in the this database via this calling methods from this class and all. Okay. So we will be seeing those examples once we know the basics of class and objects. Then we will solve some sort of problems like that, where we will be solving problems via both the ways, via this object oriented way and also via procedure oriented way. So you will have a good grasp, like how you can solve a particular problem in both, using both the ways, object oriented as well as procedure oriented.
Interesting.
Okay. So this is just these are very simple examples, the setting and getting values. I hope this is clear to everyone. Constructors, setters, getters.
Clear, sir.
Yes.
Now there are uh, different types of variables. Okay, for example, in this class student, or different types of method variables also we can say. So these variables that are declared inside this constructor, like name and email. Okay, these are called instance variable. Okay, their value will be or like maybe unique for each instance, because values can be same, because two students can have the same name, right? But they will be like they will be pointing to your different memory location. That is important. Values may or may not be unique, name can be same, but email will be unique. Okay, but they will be pointing different memory location, as we saw in the visualizer, right? So S1 is pointing to a different memory location, S2 is pointing to a different memory location. They might have the same name in this, but they were pointing to different memory location. So these are instance variable. There is another type of variable, they are called class variable. Okay, their value will be same for all the objects. Okay, let's say students, right? So students, they can one thing they have in common is the subject is same, right? Subject Python is same. And you see this variable we are not defining inside any method with self. Okay, this is defined outside any method. Okay, so this variable is called a class variable, and the value of this will be same for the different objects. Okay, so let's say I am printing this variable name with S1 and S2 both. Okay, S1 dot subject. If we run this, see both will be pointing to Python. And even you can call it with the class name. Students dot subject. the value will be same. Okay, so this the variable, and see the instance variable, we always use self before it, right? Self dot name, self dot email, return self dot name, self dot email. Okay, but in this variable we don't use the word self. Okay, self means it belongs to a particular instance whenever we use self. Okay, but here we are this is a class variable, it belongs to the entire class. Okay, its value will be same for the entire class. Is this clear, the difference between class variable and instance variable, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now similar to instance variable and class variable, we have something called these methods that are having self. These are called instance method. Okay, so we have something called class method or static method. So we have seen instance method. Now we'll see class method. So for using this class, sorry, class method, what let's say I have a method get subject. Okay, and it is returning your. So this is a class method. We have to use this @ sign to show that this is a, to distinguish that this is a class method. @ class method. This is annotation @ class method. Okay, and we have to pass the CLS and to write CLS dot the name of this. So here we are not using your this self method. Okay, so this is the class method. We are how are we showing that this is the class method? We are using this annotation @ class method, and this is a variable. It can be any variable. Okay, and this using CLS, it can be any variable. So if we run, so let's call this class method. Okay, get subject. So I'm calling it maybe here also I can call it. So either you call with the object or you call with the class name. Both is going to work fine. Okay. Students dot get subject. So we have one more Python. So this is class method, and like in some programming languages like Java, class method and static method are same. But in Python, they have in Java, but different in Python. So we have this method, let's say, basically their usage is same only this annotation will be different. Static method, and for static method we no need to pass any parameter, so you can just use the class name here. Get subject, let's call it static, so we can just call it here. I run this. Okay, so we saw difference between instance variable and class variable. We saw the difference between instance method. These methods which are having self, these are instance method. Okay, this will be unique for each instance. And then we have something called class method and static method. That will be same for the entire, for all the objects. It won't be unique for each like object, just like instance method. So is the difference clear, guys? Class method, static method versus instance method, and instance variable and class variable. Any doubt, any questions on this?
Hmm. So the only difference is that these two methods, static and class method, would be common to all the instances.
Correct. The value will be common. So let's say I want to count the number of students. Okay. So we can introduce another variable here that is going to keep a count of the number of students. Number of students. Initially, I am putting it to 0. And whenever we are creating an object, so when we are creating an object, guys, which method is being called? Tell me. When I'm running this one, which method will be called?
Init.
Init method will be called. So we have to increase the count here. Since this is a class variable, guys, how will we access it here? So class, like whenever we have, so inside this, we'll always access it with the class name. Okay. We cannot use self here, right? Self will be pointing to a particular object. So when you use students dot number of students, this is pointing to this. So we'll just do it. This will increase the count. And when we want to, and you can have one static method for getting the number of students. So get number of students. Students dot return this. So once we create these two objects, then let's call this method. So giving me 2 students. Okay, so far are we good, guys? Any doubt, anything?
Good.
No, Danish. Do we have static variables?
No, this way we don't have a like difference between. You can call it a static or a class variable, but they only have made the difference between these methods.
Okay.
Okay, this variable you can either call a static or class variable. And other programming languages don't even have a difference between these two, static and class method. But here they have different. Everything is same, only the syntax is different.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So we have seen setters, getters. We have seen this. Okay. Now coming to the
Danish, one more
yeah.
question. So where are we using this class method, static method in real time?
No, in real time only. So if you want to find the number of students, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have let's say you are running a school, you are maintaining a record for all the students, teachers, everyone. Okay. Now for getting a count of number of students, how will you do it? Because that number of students is not particular to any student, right? That is a common property for the entire class, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, where some property that is common for all the objects, that will remain common for all the objects, for all the students. Okay, those things we will put into static.
Okay.
Like average of heights of all the students.
Yes, correct. So those things are not unique to each instance, right? That is the collective thing. So those things we'll put it in static method of class.
Okay.
Or yeah, that I think that is sufficient. Yes. Okay, so we have day 11. What have we covered today? Yeah, 3 ways of 3 different ways setting in. Okay, guys, can we have an object without class, guys? Can we have an object without creating the class? Can we create an object without creating a class?
I think no, sir.
Yes, no, guys. What is the answer?
No.
No. Any other answer, guys? Obviously, no, right? Because see, how are we creating? S1 equals to student. If we don't have students, then what will S1 point to? Right? S1, if we don't have the class only, then objects will be of which class? Right? We need to have class, right? Either even if we when we declare a variable number of students equals to 0, so there is a class, integer class, inbuilt class, right? So that is why we are able to declare this. If there will be no integer class defined, then we won't be able to this will give us error, right? So without class, we cannot create objects. Okay. And we can say that class is logical thing, right? Class, you can say it's a logical thing, but where are we storing the values and all? They are in objects, right? So we can say that class, that's why they say class is a blueprint and object is the real implementation of that. So that is the reason why they say like this. Okay. Okay. So now coming to the four pillars of object-oriented programming. Say it's abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and we have
Sir, what
polygon.
is the method which is generally used in the real time? Procedural or oops?
Depends. Like if see for smaller things, we basically go with procedure-oriented programming.
Okay.
But when you have a bigger enterprise system, there you need a proper segregation and proper like UML diagrams and all. So bigger software system, they use object-oriented programming.
Okay.
But for the role of data engineers and all, they if you know procedure-oriented programming, you are well and good. They rarely ask you about object-oriented programming.
Yeah, because in our project also, I haven't seen any like class. We are just like creating functions
Correct.
and we are just using that. So
Correct.
procedure we're using.
Yeah, that is procedure-oriented. They rarely use this. For bigger enterprise system, then only they will use it.
Yeah, maybe for like a software or something.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
we are working, we have a process based
Correct.
on the program.
Right. But it is always better, good to have a basic understanding and too, because it's object-oriented programming. This is a very huge topic. They have several books written only on the principles and this. Okay. So we'll understand the important, the main things, important ones, because sometimes they ask in interviews about these things also. Okay. And in some projects, they might use also class and objects so that we are not confused. We should be aware of the basic things of just objects and classes.
Yes.
Okay, so abstraction. Okay. When we are talking about abstraction, so abstraction is nothing but hiding of the we can say hiding what is going in the background, like the bigger details. Okay, because end user is not interested in seeing what is happening in the background. End user is only let's say we are withdrawing some money from the ATM. We don't want to know what is going in the back end, how they are calculating, how they are updating the balance and all. Okay, we just we just want to put our card and we want to withdraw the money. So that is the concept behind abstraction, like hiding of uh you can say unnecessary or I think that is not of interest to the user. Okay. Let's say in this class that we created, okay, get name, get email. So in this class, I am an end user. Okay, this is a software that is already built. Okay, they have an interface, and I am not interested in how they are setting the name, how we are getting the name, all those things. Okay, I am only interested in knowing. I'm only interested in knowing how many students do I have in the class. Okay, I'm only interested in knowing how many students I have in the class. So for that, I don't need to, go open this and see all those things. Okay. So what I will do, so the name of this module is, so we'll import this module, okay, using construct. This is the name of the module. So we'll just import this, import this. Okay, and after importing it, uh, in this module, we have this class, right? So we can import this class, import using constructors. And then I want to call this method. This method is what it is. It will give me the number of students. Okay, get number of students. I have to call this method. So what I will do, so using this is a module name, guys, and this is the class name employee. MPL. Okay, this is a module name dot class name, and since this method is a class method, guys, do we need to create object to access this, or we can call it directly like this? So this is basically, if I hide this part, this is like class name dot the method name, right? Since this is a static method, we can call it via class name directly. No need to create objects for this. Yes or no, guys?
So can you explain that again? So we have a Python file using having this name using constructors, and we are importing that, and then we are using method from that particular thing.
Yes, because this method, we are only interested in knowing how many students, okay? And we saw that this method is a static method. We don't need to create object for this. We can access it directly with the class name. So we're using that
Mhm.
class name and we are calling that method.
Using constructors is the name of the file, right?
Yes, we are importing it.
Okay, okay,
This is the
okay,
name.
yeah.
This is the name of the file, right? Using that.
Understood.
Okay. So,
Danish, from where this employee is coming? I think it should be students, no?
okay, then yeah, then the might let me check. Yes, it should be student from there. My mistake. Okay. So if I run this, we are getting a 2. Okay. And okay, now this is a trick. See, we are running only this, guys. Okay.
We
But
are
you see
getting
what
all
is
the
the
output.
output? Yes. Why? Because when you import anything, when we are importing this module, any print statement, it is executing all the statements here. Okay. How
Mhm.
can we avoid this? Okay, so you might have seen about this kind of code in net. If underscore underscore name equals to what is it? I think underscore underscore mean, is it right? Have you seen this code, guys, over the net? Anyone?
Yes, sir. It is like at the
Yes.
starting of each program in Hyderabad.
Yes. So if I put this thing inside this under this if condition, this is a very good use case to make you understand this. Okay, I have saved this and let me run this now. Oh, it's only 2 0. Why it is showing 0? Because we are not creating any object. Now it is not showing any output, right, guys? It's showing any output. The like other output is not showing. It is only giving me a value 0, right? Why it is giving me a value 0, guys? Can anyone tell me? See, first let me explain you this. What is happening? See, if we put this, if name is equals to main, okay, this will only be these. It will enter this if condition only if it is being run. We are running this particular file. Then only we will be able to see this output. Okay, if
Okay,
we
so
are
in
calling this
mhm.
class from a different module, if we are calling anything from this module from a different module, then these methods will not be executed.
So in that case, like if we want to run any static method
Hmm.
like this to get the number of students, so how
Hmm.
will we do that?
So what is happening now, since this is not getting executed when we are calling from this particular module, that is why there is no object. Are we creating any object? Object is
No,
getting inside this. So we can put these two things outside of this
outside.
if block.
Okay.
Okay, and all the print statement inside this if block. Now if we run this section, it is giving me the number of. Understood, guys? So we have discussed, this is also important to understand. Many code you will find this. So have you understood, guys? Any doubt, any questions, anyone? And so basically we have understood abstraction here is, see, in this file, so it's like, let's say it's for the end user, okay? He is not interested in knowing what is happening behind the background. He's just interested only in one thing, getting the number of students. So this is basically hiding the details, right? How he is getting, what is the implementation of this method? He is not aware what is being calculated, how it is being calculated. He only wants the end result. So this is what is abstraction. It is hiding the unnecessary details from that particular user. So this can be used by the principal, by anyone else in the school management, just to check how many students are there, how many have paid their fees. So these things can be implemented in this way. So this can be a good example of abstraction. Is it clear, guys, to everyone? Concept of abstraction as well as this concept name equals to me in this one.
So these all integer classes, string classes are abstracted, right? Because we are just using
Correct. Yes, that's
their method.
exactly. We are calling, we are calling the method short, but what is happening inside the short, we are not aware, right? So that is also good examples of abstraction. Clear, guys? Understood? Not understood? Yes, no?
Understood.
Yes.
Okay. So, this is, yeah, importing, guys. So we saw only this way of importing. There are different ways of importing. So let me a little bit talk about that. So we are importing this, and then we are using this dot this is, okay. Now there are multiple ways of doing it. I can do, instead of using constructor is a big name, okay, I can just call it UC, and I will use UC here. So we are giving an alias. Okay, this is one way. Another way is, let's say this particular module using constructor can have, let's say, 10 classes. Okay, it can have 10 classes. So when we are doing this, so basically it is importing the entire all the classes, like all the whatever is present in this particular module, you can use it. I don't want to do it. I want only students class. Okay, so what I can do, there's another way you can write from a name of the module. Okay, import the class name. When you import like this, let me comment out the first import, then you can directly use like this students dot get number of students. Okay,
Sir,
yes,
in this case, we are importing just the student class. So
correct.
if there is any other class, we are not using their properties on it.
Yes,
Or
we won't be able to use it.
But like, what is the use case? I think it's better to import everything, right? Or
No,
does that also
no,
have like,
no. If you have like, if you have 50 methods, let's say 50 functions,
mhm.
okay, you don't want to import and put a load on your memory, right? I want only the important
Oh,
ones.
so it stores these whenever we import a class, the methods are also stored inside the memory.
Yes. So if you want to avoid it, then you want to use only the specific one, right? And if you want to import everything, then you can use like this also from, using constructor import star. So this is going to import all your function method and dependency. Okay, if you
Can
call,
you
yes,
show in a visualizer like if like this particular statement stores anything inside the memory?
so visualizer will be a problem because we cannot have two programs written over there, right?
Oh, okay.
We cannot have two programs, but you see, even in visualizer, if
What
you
about
have,
if
let's say
it
we
like
have this one class, okay, and let's say we have another method inside this test pass test one again pass test two again pass,
sir,
okay?
but what if like we uh, like import built-in modules? Will that can also show us the memory location?
The built-in modules are by, see, we are not putting it in our memory. By when Python is installed, they are already present in your system. So they see, they are allocating some memory for this, right? Students, test one,
Mhm.
right? So in this way, all will be stored.
Okay.
Okay, in this way. Okay, and yes, so yesterday you asked a question, right? Where do we have this built-ins like len function and all, right? So there's a module called built-ins. Okay, so if we do like this import uh, built-ins, okay, and then you use dir will show you all the methods and attributes that are present in this module. Okay, so in this built-in module you have all the user defined, uh, classes, functions. So here you will see this
User defined?
all the built-in methods, not user
Okay.
defined, all the built-in like classes or methods that we functions. The print function is here.
Mhm.
You have this str function, sorted function is there, type len function is there. Okay, everything is present in this particular module, built-ins.
Okay.
Okay,
Sir, one more question. You
yeah,
mentioned that like pandas and NumPy come under third-party
third party
modules,
modules, right?
but they are also like packed with the whenever we install Python, right? We can
No,
directly
no,
import.
no, no, no.
No.
See, Python, if you are installing using Anaconda,
Oh,
Anaconda is
okay, yeah,
different. Okay,
yeah,
Anaconda
yeah,
is different. That is having that is a package that is already having those installed. But if you
yeah,
install only Python, you will see that those are not available.
yeah. Maybe that was the case because I was trying on Anaconda.
Yes. Okay, guys, now coming back here, so we are clear with the different import statements and we are clear with what is called abstraction. Okay. Next, we have something called encapsulation. So, like encapsulation is nothing, guys, but it is, if you see our example here in this constructor, So in this guys, in this class student, we have the properties or the methods get name, get email, etc. emails and all. And also we have variables. Like inside this method, we are having this name, email, we are having this class variable. So all are binded, encapsulated together. If you want to use anything from this class, you can just create an object of the class. Once you create the object, okay. So once you create this object S1, okay guys. So what does it contain after this statement, guys? S1, okay. What is the content of S1? It has the data, right? Sam and this. And it has also the methods that is needed to operate on this data, right?
Yes.
It has the data, Sam, okay, this is the data, and it also has the method, okay, how we can operate. It has the get name, get email. Like when you create a list object, right? It has you pass the data to it, right? List equals to in bracket, you give the values. And also you have all the inbuilt methods also, right? Both we can use. So this binding of this method and this data together, like this is nothing but an example of encapsulation. Okay, it is binded together, encapsulated. Okay, so this like this data and method together in a class.
Danish, can you please repeat that encapsulation one more time?
Yeah, sure. So see, encapsulation is nothing. Like if we see this, take our class, all these methods, right? In this class, we have the data. We have some variables and methods, right? All like these are called in technical terms. You can call these are called attributes. Okay, these are attributes. These are properties, attributes. They are binded together in this class. Okay, so once you create an object of this class, you can use any one of them, like the attributes or the behaviors or the properties. Okay, this binding of these variables. See the variables also are linked to this method, right? So this binding of this method and the variable together, this is nothing what is called encapsulation.
Okay, so basically all these variables are restricted only for these class students here.
Correct. You cannot access it from outside.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
these two methods, the static and
Class method. Yeah.
class method, can we directly call them from a like object? No, right? Like S1
Stat
dot get subject.
Yes, static and class method you can call with the object also, but the value will not be unique. Like you see, we have here if you see, okay, let's see if we have s1 dot get name, s2 dot get name, right? So if we want to call the, let's say, static method s1 dot get number of students, okay, it will give you the same because this value is common for everyone, right? So it won't be a problem. So if I run this, give me a 2, it's not giving any error, right?
Okay.
But if you are creating using from a different module, here you are not creating any instance of that class, right? So here if you use it, you will get error because it will not know what is that S1.
But we have created those instances in the like before that init the main dot main. Yeah, name dot main. So it should take that into consideration.
No, but these are not part. We have imported the students class. Okay, this is not coming under student class.
Oh, okay.
So let's say if you have imported this module, let's say we are importing this mod. Let me comment out this. We are only importing this module. Import using constructor as UC. Okay. Now, if I call from here, like module dot S1. Okay. So let's see whether this is working or not. So this is working.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it, sir. Got it.
Okay. So abstraction, encapsulation, we are clear. So inheritance and polymorphism, I'm keeping it for the next class. We first learn these things, then any doubt, any question, we'll take it together and then we will cover inheritance, polymorphism in the next class. Okay.
Okay.
Now coming to back to the question that we were discussing yesterday, shorting of that list, right? So we have a list of groups. You might have seen some interesting answers over in LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
Like I posted that question, there were a lot of solutions for that. Let's discuss some of them. So that is the advantage of putting your question. You will get different types of answers, and you get to learn the new things, right? Everyone will have their own way of approaching a problem and solving it. So that gives you more perspective, of how to solve a given. Uh, watermelon. One, two, three, four. What is there? Strawberry. Fine. So the best one which I found out was given by Shivam. He just used this like let's underscore fruits. The short method that we have, and he just mentioned this key equals to I think the len, right?
Yeah, length.
Length, and then this one is we run this. So we are getting it shortened. A 5, this is the length 5, 7, 7, whatever next one. So this key is an optional parameter. If you don't give any value, it takes it as none. And if you give some value, the attributes that can be any method that can be applied on the existing like string, we can apply this. Okay. But same thing, if we have, let's say, a list of numbers, 21, 1, 24, 78, 99. And if we try to apply this here and run this, we'll get an error because this integer has got no, we cannot apply this length function on integer, right? So we are getting error like this. Okay. This is one way of doing it, like, using this. Can
So
we
in
do?
case if the count, if the length is equal, how it is like segregating?
No, it is just taking. It is not segregating. They are on the same one after another, subsequent
So
ones. Okay. So can we do it without using this short method? Without using this single short. Did you guys got any idea like how to do it without using that single short method?
I think we can try with lambda, but I don't know the approach.
Okay, it's lambda is also yeah, we can try it with lambda. That it can be also. But for all of them, there will be a problem with the length. Okay, they won't be able to distinguish between the let's say if I have a situation like this, I can say if the length is same, then I want to short it with the character. Okay, suppose papaya is this is six, length six, grapes is length six. Okay, but since G comes before papaya, so I will have G first. Okay, then those kind of scenarios cannot be handled with this. Okay, so one approach that we can use is like just like when we shorten we shorten a list, right? Let's say, how do we short this list of numbers? I want to short this numbers without using any inbuilt method. So we have seen it, right, using two for loops,
Yeah, nested loop.
Two for
right?
loops and one temporary variable.
Yes. So we can follow that approach. So we will follow that approach for fruits. Okay. Length of fruit. Then we have another fruit minus I and minus 1. And here what we will do, we will say if length of uh, list of fruit J is ascending order, right? If it is greater, okay, if it is greater, then we will do a swap. You can do it by a temp variable or you can do it like this. Python is giving a little bit flexibility here. Okay. We print this. Okay, like we run this. Int has no object length. Where are we using? Okay, let me remove this. This is sorting. Okay, now second problem statement is we have to, when the length is same, okay, then what are we going to do? So if it is not greater, I am checking another condition, elif. In elif, I will check if the length is same. Okay. If the length is same, then what we will do, guys? If
Uh,
the then we'll
we
put
can
another condition if, right, and I will just check if this is greater than this. Okay, so if let's say a there's a clash between grapes and papaya, okay, G and P. So if the value of this if G is greater than P, then we will do a swap. If it is not greater, then we won't do a swap. Okay. We don't need to
but
mention
in
the else part. Yes, tell me, Abhinav.
but in this case we have to use double indexing, right? Or not? How are we accessing the first elements of both of these words? Or are we just comparing these words?
No, if it is not fulfilling this criteria, not greater, then we are checking this. If are they equal?
In the elif condition. This
Under,
if list
yeah,
of fruits j is greater than list of
yeah.
fruits j.
What do you need to do here?
So like for the uh, for grapes and papaya, it will enter this elif condition.
Yes.
Now they are checking list fruits of j. Let's say it is for grapes and papaya. I don't understand like how they are going to check because
No, see, so this we have a outer for loop also, right? So
Mhm.
initially what will happen? It will take the first element. Outer for loop will run it that many times. So you no need to worry about the present order. Like after each loop, this order will be different, right?
Mhm.
Just like in sorting, right? After each loop, first it will put the greatest one at its proper place, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So let's see after executing. I'm not sure if this will work or not. So let's see if it works or not. Okay. So if this is this and the last else part, I will just do up. I don't need to do anything. Just do continue. Okay. And now if we print this, let's add some more same like same length. This one fruit name. So 5 letter. What do we have?
Chiku.
Chiku. We can mention right. Chiku. Okay. And anything else you want, guys want to add? What do we? What do we?
Can we add A double P E L?
Sure. That is also good option. APPEL. Okay. So let's run it now. So APPE. Yeah, E comes for this. So it is clear, guys. How we do it?
Sir, can you visualize because this if condition and elif
Yeah, sure. We can visualize this and check. Let's go. Continued district number. So going through the range of fruits. So it is comparing the length. Okay. Apple
Mhm.
is length greater than or
Mhm.
not. So not greater is entering elif. Elif condition is also not matching, they are not equal. So it will go to the next it will go to the next iteration. Now it will compare grapes and watermelon. Okay, again, since grapes is less than watermelon, so it will again go to the next iteration. Now it will compare watermelon with papaya.
Mhm.
So there will be a swap here, right?
Yes.
Okay, now
Watermelon.
it is, now you see this, watermelon has been shifted. Now it is
Correct.
now watermelon will be compared with strawberry. Okay,
Mhm.
so now J is 3, so 3 and 4 will be compared with watermelon and strawberry. So are they same? I don't know the length. Yes, they are same. Okay, now so it entered this elite block.
Yes, sir. At this point, what this is doing?
What
Let's
this will
prove.
do, it is doing a normal comparison. Is W greater than S? But W comes before S or not? That is the comparison it is taking.
So it is checking the SI values or what is doing because it is a part of
See,
string,
we
right?
cannot say ASCII value here because see, string basically in Python is made of Unicode characters. Okay, Unicode.
Okay.
So Unicode characters, they will have a unique value for each character. Okay, so here you can just assume for the time being it is comparing, whether this character comes before this or not. What value? I will also double check that whether ASCII value is coming into picture or it is coming Unicode value. But just for the timing, just have this assumption. It's comparing whether this character is coming before this or not. If it is before, if it is after, it is having a greater value than that.
Uh, okay. So it is comparing full watermelon with strawberry.
Yes, character wise. Okay, first W and S. If they are matching, then it will compare the next character. Now you can say W, yeah, it is you can say yes, here watermelon is compared to the strawberry, but how is the comparison happening? With each character. Okay, W with S. If it is W and W, then it will compare the next character of that string within this only, this condition only, one condition.
Uh, Sir, I was
Yes,
just checking
Anish.
like if
So,
ABC is greater than ABA, it
Yeah.
is giving like true in a print statement.
Because A, B, C, C comes after A, right?
Correct.
So that is why it's showing greater value for that.
yeah, if you see the output of the previous, no, in Python, this APPEL is coming before than APPLE. It is coming
Mhm.
character to character.
Okay.
Okay.
So this way it will execute. So strawberry, watermelon, and fine. So I'm not executing the rest of the code, guys. I hope it is understood. This one.
Understood.
Okay. This is one way of, without using that short or shorted method. One way. Now short method we have zero. Same thing we can do with shorted method. We were discussing about shorted method last day. Okay.
In that also, I think we have this key attribute.
Yes. So let's understand
Sorry,
this.
key argument.
Let's understand this key argument and all this. Okay. So, what is that? Yeah. Short method of just. So if we go there, we'll go to the official documentation. That is the best place to learn. Okay, for any programming language. Okay. So shorting basics. So we have, if you see this, yeah, we have this two method. Both list.short and shorted have a key parameter. Okay. So what do we do with this key parameter? They have mentioned to specify a function or other callable to be called on each element prior to making comparison. Okay. So this key parameter is for specifying a function. So in this case, they have given one example. You see, we have a string. Forget about splitting. So basically, they're converting this to a list. Okay. And then they are using key and a function name string.lower. Okay. Key is string.lower. So if we come, we'll see the example in our case also. Okay, what we are trying to do. If you see this example, another example for shorted, they have passed a tuple. This is a tuple, okay, and they want to short it by this one, 15, 12, 12. So what they have given, they have used an anonymous function here. Okay. So basically, the key thing that we have to take is inside key parameter, we have to give a function name. This technique is fast because the key function is called exactly once for each input record. Like for each input record, the key function will be called once. So that's why I think this technique is fast. And what other any other method information they have given? So both accept a reverse parameter. Okay, if you want to reverse, so you have an option. You can use reverse also. Okay, the name of the iterable key, and this should be a function name, and then reverse we can also use to reverse the order. Okay, so with these three information, we will now try to understand how we can use it in our case. Okay, I'm just copying this documentation link in the chat. Okay, so coming back to our program. Yeah, so here he used short, okay, list numbers dot short. So we'll see how we can do the same thing via shorted method as well. But this list is already shorted with this execution. So I will just copy this here and I will change the name. Let's say a list of FRU. Okay. So how to use it via shorted function is, so you give this shorted. See iterable. Okay. Iterable key is none, reverse is false. Okay. So you pass this key. Okay. Now what can be the key? Okay. So this list consists of all string. Okay. So it will take one string, and we know there is an inbuilt method right, of string, like this is an inbuilt function we can apply on string, any iterable. Okay, so I'm giving key as length. And if you want to do a reverse sorting, then we can do a reverse equals to true. And what does this sorted function return, guys? It returns a list, right? Correct? Sorted function, last class we studied, it will return you a new list after sorting, right? It won't change the existing one. So we are doing a reverse, so that is why the size with the biggest, greatest length is at the beginning. Okay. But
Okay.
with this, you don't have that flexibility to do what we have done here. Like, if the length is same, uh, we have to short it, like by the character then. Okay, you don't have that flexibility here. Is this clear, guys? How we can use the shorted function in this?
Yes.
Okay, now I have, let's say, um, okay, what can we do? Yeah, so in this list of fruits, let me get another list. List of fruit with the number of, we say, uh, list of fruit with, let's say, sold. How many kgs are sold? Okay, so apple, let's say it is sold. Today it is sold 15 kgs. I'm giving number 15. Okay. Grapes. This is sold, let's say 25 kgs. Watermelon, this is sold, let's say 50 kgs. Papaya, let's say this is sold 7 kg. Strawberry, 9. Okay, I'm ending it here. Okay, let me delete the others. These are not required now. Okay. So basically here we have, each element is a tuple, right? And the entire thing is in a list. Now I want to sort it by the number of kgs sold. Got my question, guys?
Yes.
I want to sort it by the number of kgs sold, not by the name. Okay. So in that case, what we have to do? So let me use the same function here. Sort by quantity. And I'm pasting this. So in this, guys, each element was a string. So we applied this length function. Okay. Now in this, each element is a tuple, right? So in a tuple, if you use indexing, how are you going to access the second element?
Item getter.
So no, setters getters, that is fine. So I was asking you, like, if we use this, like, iteration, right? Let's say, so in this key, what I will do, I will change this key to like this lambda x. Okay, I'm using this. They can be any function. Okay, it can be an anonymous function. You can define a regular function. So I'm using a anonymous function. So
X of
lambda
1.
x, what x is doing? X is one element of this. Okay, it's taking this. So
Mhm.
we will, so x is the second element, guys. We will give here x of
1.
1. Okay, and then if we print this, so that is why I told understanding the documentation is important, that what can be the value of key. So we see here, as we saw in this, uh, where is the key function, right? Yeah. The value of key parameter should be a function or other callable. Okay. So here we are passing an anonymous function that is taking one element, and here the one element is a complete, tuple, and we are taking the second element. So it should sort it by this number, second element. Okay. So if we run this now,
Danish, I think you need to change the variable list fruit sold.
okay, okay, yes, right, that's correct. So we have to change. So now if we run this T and then 25, then 15, then 9. Is it clear, guys? How we do this?
Mhm. Sir, in this uh, documentation, there is mention of item getter for this tuple.
Where is it? Item getter
Under odds and ends.
under odds and end. Okay, odds and so the reverse parameter they have mentioned.
Yeah, the second line.
This one,
No, above one, second line, above box, code box.
this one, second line.
In the code box, second line, key is equals to item getter. The code box, the
Uh,
green one.
the 1 minute. Sorry, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, this one only. Above this code block, yeah, second line, above this, just above this.
This one.
This green box, first green box,
The coding section.
yeah, coding section, second line.
Oh,
Key is
item
equals
getter,
to,
item getter.
yeah,
Okay. Key equals to item getter. So item getter, I think this is a module which we have to import,
yeah, because it is not working.
right? We have to, if you import item getter, if this is a if you import item getter, right?
But,
um,
okay.
I think you have to use it like this if you're using item getter. Import item getter, and if we use here, how are they using it? Let's see. Key equals to item getter or 0. So we can get key equals to item getter 1, right? Item getter 1. So we run this now. No module
I
item
think
getter. There
the
might be.
model is different.
Okay. Then we okay. I will just check that. Okay. What is that
Okay.
module? Okay. So let it keep it like this only right now. Lambda x x1. Okay. Now we can also use a regular function also, like instead of this lambda function. Let's define a function. Let's define a function. Let's say here return second element and this return second. So in this, it will just take any parameter as input. Let's say one element, and it will just return you the element 1. Yeah. So instead of this lambda function, we can use this one also, the regular function, because it can accept any function. Okay. So let me comment out the first. Right. Item getter. Let me comment out this item getter. So you see, it's shorting it in this way.
Yeah,
Okay, guys. So I hope this kind of question you will be able to solve, right? So this is done, and let's say we have. Let me open another file. Let's take copy this list, and let's get another list. Let's learn topics. in this length of element or element in list of. I want to join these two lists, okay, guys? So for that, we have an inbuilt function called zip. So I'll just pass the name of the list. And let me show in the. Okay, and so we have zipped it. But when we run it, we won't be able to see the output at the first instance. I will tell you why we are not seeing any output. Print result and print the type of it. This is we're talking about zip function. We run this. So it's a zip object, it's a zip function, okay. And to convert this to, let's say I want to convert the entire thing into a list. Okay. So I'll just use this list. So guys, this list what we are passing here, right? So this is a list constructor. Okay. When we're using str, when converting one to other, they are basically constructors, right? You asked me one question, Abhinav, previously that so can this is also function, right? I will tell you later what is this once we study about classes and objects. So basically these are constructors, okay. Instead of calling list equals to and in square bracket 1 2 3 4, here you are passing these as the values, okay. So list, or we have tuple, we put it into bracket and we give the iterable inside. So they are basically calling the constructor of the object list. Okay.
Okay.
So coming back to this, so if you see this zip function, guys, we converted the entire thing into a list, and now if you see this inside list, we have this individual tuples. You can
So it is doing item by item.
item by item.
Agreed.
Correct.
What if like there is like
Mismatch in the size you are saying?
Yeah.
Got it. That is also a use case. So let's say I'm creating another list. Is having like let's say 32, 11, 45. Okay, there are only 4 elements, and I'm trying to do a zip with this. Instead of length of fruits, I'm going this. So how many records we are getting, guys? So whichever the size of the list that is like, smaller, it will take that many elements from the list that is bigger. Okay, and it will ignore the rest of.
Elements will be first 4 from the fruits list.
Correct.
Okay.
That is one of the limitation of this zip function. Okay, but this limitation we can override this behavior through another zip function we have that will cover when we study more about modules. Okay, one of the modules is there that we can use to overcome this shortcome of this zip function. Okay.
Okay.
I know what else to I need to cover. Just give me a moment. Let me check if I'm missing anything.
Sir, I have a question. Like, if
Yes,
we have
please.
little time.
Yes.
So in like few of the interviews, I got a question that we have a list which is having some numbers.
Okay.
Okay, and then we are taking input from the user. Let's say we have a list 1 to 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and
Okay.
then we are taking an input from the user, and let's say the input is 4. So we need to tell all the pairs from that list which are having some equal to the 4, which is the user input.
First part of the question is clear. You have a list which is having, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 elements, and when we are taking an input from the user, and then what did you say?
So we need to tell,
Yeah.
we need to tell the pairs from the list which are uh, which will have the sum equal to that user input, like the number 4. So the pair could be like 1, 3.
Oh, okay, I got it. So let's say you are giving an input 4. So we have to find the sum of each element, like all the digits, right? The digit of
Yes.
each element, and find whether it is equal or not. That is the question,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, very good question. Very good question. That's a good question. So what you can do in that case now? So we have that assumption. Okay, so all the numbers are integers only in this list, right?
Yes.
So we can create, another list with the sum of each digit. Okay. How we can do it? Let's say this list. Okay, we are taking this list. So I can just take each element of this list or elements in this.
Danish, one more thing.
Yes.
Abhinav, if you don't mind, can we take this as assignment and we can discuss
Yeah,
tomorrow?
you can just like tell us like the approach and we can try it and we can just
Yeah, yeah.
discuss in next
That
class.
is right, right. That is also a good thing. Yes. So what I will do now, I will just take you. I think I have already given in one of the assignment how to find the sum of the digits, right? Assignment 3 or 4, if I remember. Then you can take an hint from there. Okay, I will show you that
Uh,
is
like some of the digits as in
assignment day. Which day was it? What are the different? I think in one of there was a string given. I think I gave a string and I told you to find the digits there and find the sum of them. I don't remember that exact which day assignment. But one, five, or in program, find the sum. No, this is not the one. So you can use that same approach. Yeah. See, write a program to find the sum of the digits of any whole number. Right? This is in day 6, assigned question number 6.
okay.
Okay. You can iterate over that list and find the sum of each digit, store it in a new list. That's it.
But how will we like tie it back to that particular like pair?
Okay, that is also, yeah, you can, just now we saw zip, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay.
Right, just now we saw zip.
Mm-hmm.
So then your each record will be a tuple, right? So it will be like
Correct.
this, if you have this 32, 5, 11, 2, 45, 9, 65, 11. Right? And then when you give the input from the user, you will check in each tuple whether the second element is equal to that input or not. Second element of each tuple. If it is equal, then print the first element. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
And
yes.
yeah, similarly, one more question was there. We can also have that as an assignment. So there were for each alphabet from A to Z, we got some points like 1 to random points from 1 to 10.
Okay.
And we were given some words. Let's say my name, Abhinav. So we had to calculate total points for that particular number.
Oh, okay. That is
So
for that you can it depends where are you storing those values for each character, right?
so dictionary would be
the best thing because there the retrieval time getting it, it takes very less time in retrieving it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Any other question, guys?
Yes, Danish. Abhinav, I didn't get the context of the second question.
So I will post that question in the WhatsApp group so that everyone
Yeah,
can.
that could be fine. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, guys. Then yeah, thank you for your time, guys. See you guys in the next class. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.